Yo, what is going on guys? Today we're taking a look at the Zoom TKL Dyna, a brand new mechanical keyboard from Meletrix. It's part of their Ultraman inspired lineup and builds on the previous models like the Zoom 75. This version looks a lot better in my opinion, it feels more refined and offers a ton of ways to customize it to your liking. Whether you're into aesthetics, sound or just want something fun to build, there's a lot to like here, so let's get into all of the details. The Zoom TKL Dyna has a much cleaner, more modern design compared to the older Zoom boards. It still has a bit of that Ultraman flair, but it's toned down quite a bit for a sleeker, more polished appearance. The back now also features a redesigned grill with a mirrored finish, and in my opinion it looks super cool. And also the whole case has a nice curvature at the bottom that makes it look more refined and in my opinion a lot more premium than previous Zoom boards. And as always you have a crazy selection of 15 color options, and this is just wild in my opinion. There are also some new colors like eggplant purple and a soft pastel yellow, and there's also my favorite colorway, which is the clear polycarbonate version, and in my opinion that one looks insanely clean, especially with the underglow turned on. And speaking of underglow, there are 4 LED light strips under the board and they really add a lot of personality, especially if you like a little ambience on your desk or want your setup to glow in the dark. And when it comes to customization, this keyboard goes hard. Like, you can choose between 4 different mounting styles: top mount, split o-ring, elastic bar and silica gel, and then you have 3 sound dampening materials: foam, poron and cork, as well as 6 plate options to choose from: POM, PC, FR4, aluminum, carbon fiber and press. And additionally you can also choose between 2 different PCB options, being one with flex cuts for a softer feel and one for a more consistent typing experience without flex cuts. And that alone is more than what most keyboards actually offer, but it doesn't stop there. Like, the knob and the screen in the top right corner are also swappable, so you can choose to use both, just one, or even replace them entirely with a few extra keys. But in my opinion the screen in particular looks really sharp. Like, it blends nicely into the build and adds to the overall aesthetic of this keyboard without being too flashy. You can also use it to display info like system stats, custom logos or just fun animations. And if you're someone who loves tweaking and experimenting with your keyboard, this keyboard definitely has a lot of potential while being quite easy to build. And speaking of building the Zoom TKL Dyna, it's actually pretty simple thanks to the ball catch system. You can open the case without any screws, which in my opinion is always a huge time saver, and it makes it so much easier to swap parts later on. But now onto one of the things that I didn't love while building this keyboard. It uses ribbon cables. These are used to connect the PCB to the screen module and to the USB-C daughter board. And while they work fine, I definitely prefer JST cables. In my opinion they are more secure and just easier to plug in. Ribbon cables can be a bit fiddly, especially during reassembly, so just be careful when doing that. But that being said, there's a reason they went with the ribbon cables, as they're needed to support the 8000 Hz polling rate, which is way higher than what you will find in most other custom keyboards. And this 8000 Hz polling rate translates to lower latency and faster response times, which is great if you're gaming or just want a super responsive typing experience. In my opinion, it still doesn't quite match the feel of a Hall effect board while gaming, which is basically instant input, but this is a nice middle ground if you want speed without giving up the feel of a mechanical switch. And outside of that, the rest of the build went extremely smooth. You just need to install your stabilizers, which are included, and in my opinion they are great. They're super easy to mod. You just need to add a little bit of loop and you're basically good to go. Then you just need to pop in your dampening material, the plate and your switches, as well as the keycaps, and that's it. You're basically done building your keyboard. And outside of the ribbon cables, I think it's a super chill build process that everyone can do. And to really test the board out, I built 2 different configurations using the same setup but swapping the switches to show how much that one change can actually affect your typing experience as well as the sound. So for both builds I used the non-flex cut PCB, poron foam and a PC plate, as well as the silica gel mount. So for config 1 I used the Gateron Black Ink V2. These are a super smooth and really quiet switch. And for config 2 I used the BSUN Maple Sugar, which are designed to give a deeper, more resonant sound with a balanced, thocky sound profile. I definitely prefer config 2 because in my opinion the sound is just more present, and that's something I really like. And that was actually just changing one piece of the puzzle. Your keycaps, blade material and mounting style also play a huge role in the final sound and feel. So there's a lot of room here to tweak things and dial in a setup that fits your preferences perfectly. Overall, I think the Zoom TKL Dyna is a fantastic option if you're looking for a clean, customizable and premium feeling keyboard. It's got a refined design, decent build quality and definitely more flexibility than a lot of keyboards out there. And also the 8000 Hz polling rate is a standout feature. Even if you're not gaming, it's still nice to have that kind of performance. And aside from the ribbon cables, which I would love to see replaced with magnetic or JST connectors, the rest of the experience is super smooth and user-friendly. In terms of pricing, it varies depending on your setup. With the current pre-order, the most expensive version, which I also think is the best looking, is the polycarbonate model. It starts at $235 and goes up to around $250 depending on what options you go with. And honestly, for what you're getting, I think that's a solid value. So whether you're upgrading from a basic board or just want something that feels unique and fun to build, this one is definitely worth a look. So let me know which build you would go with in the comments, and if you think the Zoom TKL Dyna lives up to the hype. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Anyway, thanks for watching and I will catch you in the next one. Peace!